What is up, guys? My name is Death Hunter. You are watching DWHQ, and by the time I am recording this, the current State of the Union has not finished yet, and I do apologize, but I couldn't stand listening to that person we have up the head of the country right now. And I don't want to be this guy, right? I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican. It doesn't matter. This guy is not fit for president. Well, I guess I should start at the beginning. What? I don't know. Anyway, okay. So I started watching the State of the Union. I'd say probably about a minute after it started, and Trump was walking in, and he started talking about this one kid who signed a petition, I think, or something like that, who actually petitioned that all, veterans have flags on their graves, which I think is awesome. That's amazing. Go for that kid. That's actually quite incredible. Although it is pretty obvious, all veterans should have recognition for their accomplishments overseas and even here on the home front. And he went on to congratulate this kid, and I was like, oh, okay, he might actually say some intelligible things. And of course, the second I thought that, he said, don't quote me on this, because I'm not entirely sure it's completely correct. Or at least it's not completely word for word. Sorry about the crappiness of the camera here, but he basically said that it's because of these kids that do this kind of stuff. It's why we, have the honor to stand up during stand up and put our hands over our hearts during the pledge, and then stand up during the national anthem. I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. That didn't really need to be said, but all right. Because it's not only that; it's just common courtesy to, stand when the flag is being risen. Stand and put your hand on your heart. Hold up. Right hand, heart's on the left side. There you go. Yeah, and I don't know why he needed to say that. So that was one of the first things that really turned me off. And all I could hear, I didn't really hear him say anything. Like, nothing throughout the entirety of what I was watching. And there are three big problems that I had with what I saw. One, he said that our economy is growing. And I haven't seen the numbers, but I'm assuming it is growing to some degree, probably not to the extent he's insinuating. But at what cost? In fact, in one specific line, our dear president said, "We have won the war on on beautiful, clean coal." I could go days on this topic right here. But ever since we pulled out of the Paris Accord and we've started being able to do our own thing, I'm absolutely positive some things are happening. I haven't noticed anything yet, but I live in a pretty clean state. Go Colorado. But it's not like, except for that oil refinery down in Denver. Ugh, it's disgusting. Anyway, coal is not clean. It's never been. It's the main reason why we have global warming now. Or, sorry, not global warming, climate change. It's the main reason why we have climate change now. It's because of this that our environment is killing itself. Carbon releases lots of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide and mining it creates methane. carbon monoxide and methane are both greenhouse gases, which means that I don't care right now. No. Damn. Anyway, these two gases trap sunlight as it comes in, and it reflects off the surface, and then it reflects off these molecules and back down on the surface, therefore hitting the Earth, melting the polar ice caps, raising the sea levels, and screwing everything over. This is not a good thing. And President Trump is so deluded into the fact that he can just have anything he wants with no repercussions whatsoever, and no one's calling him out on it. Well, a lot of people are, sure. A lot of people are trying to call him out on it, but he's not listening. He adamantly refuses to listen about what anyone has to say about climate change, including 97% of climate scientists agree that this is an issue. 97%. This is an overwhelming fact if that's the case. I don't know what these other 3% are thinking, but this is an overwhelming majority. At this point, it's pretty obvious that this is a thing. And I don't understand. I just don't understand. It's like, why? Why would you ignore something that's so prevalent as climate change just to make a buck? Just to have the country make a tiny bit more money every year? That is stupid, and it is dangerous. And that was my first issue. My second issue is that Trump was saying a lot of things that sounded decent enough. Like, his concepts sounded okay. Until you realize the fact that he didn't explain any of them. He said, we're going to build the wall. How are you going to build the wall? How are you going to find the resources to build the wall? Who are you going to get to build that wall? He mentioned, like public-private enterprise agreements. How the heck are you going to arrange those? It made no sense. He wasn't articulating exactly what he wanted to happen. It's like he was trying to talk around his own concept and trying to make everything sound better than it actually was. That doesn't... Explain yourself, and maybe people would take you a little more seriously from time to time. How are you going to do all these things? Seriously. Like, what? Jackson, no. And third thing, alright, the third thing that I really had an issue with was the fact that he claimed that he was adamant about rights to religion and race. He said he believed in these, which I believe in them too. I believe that everyone should be treated equally. No matter if you're the man in the government or the plebeian that's homeless, it doesn't matter. Everyone needs to be treated equally. But by saying that, he's negating the fact that he not only had the Muslim ban, and he only added Venezuela to that, so people wouldn't call it a Muslim ban. It's still a Muslim ban. And I'll get to, and if you want me to, yeah. And the only reason why he added Venezuela was for two reasons. One, he didn't want people thinking it was a Muslim ban, obviously, because that would kind of go against the freedom of religion. And two, he wanted to cover it up because Venezuela is also part of OPEC, right? OPEC. Oil exporting countries. As were most of the other countries. I'm not entirely sure Yemen is part of OPEC. It probably is, I would think so. But that... Why? Why? And if you have an answer to that, please leave it in the comments. I understand, right? I understand that we want to keep terrorists out. I don't want terrorists here in the quaint little town of Windsor, Colorado. No one wants that, obviously. No one wants to wake up one day and see that their, school has had a hole blown through. No one wants to see that. But there have to be better ways than just completely disregarding anyone from a Muslim country or Venezuela. That's completely arbitrary, because not only does it lock out people who are trying to flee from the conflicts of their own countries because they don't want to die in crossfire between, pro-military pro-military things, ISIS and rebel groups, or pro-military armies, or pro-government armies, ISIS and military groups. They don't want to be caught in the crossfire, which I can tell you, and I'm sure anyone else can tell you, they don't want to die via gunfire. And then to just deny them that and send them the way they are, putting them back in danger where they were trying to escape in the first place. I have a huge moral issue with that. That is so wrong on so many levels. That's just not cool. It's like, why would you deny these people their own safety just because you're paranoid that some people could come in? I think there have only been 1 or 2 actual cases of terrorists coming in disguised as refugees, and those were both in Europe. That's just a really huge issue. So there's that, and also the fact that he once again said that Mexicans coming into this country are rapists, murderers, and gangbangers. And as the person I'm in this apartment with said, that Jeffrey Dahmer, who'd you say again? Ted Bundy, right? Pogo, who is he again? I forget his name. John Wayne Gacy, right? They were all white. They were and American, exactly. Thank you. They were all white. They were all Americans, and the fact that he's labeling, and the way he said it too, stated that all Americans are perfect and all Mexicans are rapists, murderers, and gangbangers. That's homophobic on one hand, racist on another, right? And then you also have to think about, he made, okay, I actually have to... Homophobic. Well, did I... oops. Yes, xenophobic and racist. This is not cool at all. And I need to tell you a little bit about this part here. So, in part of the address, he mentioned the fact that there was this one family that lost 2 16-year-old girls in a gang-related accident.
No, that's not what he said.
Yeah, I did. He said the 2 were gangbangers.
Yes, that the 2 girls were murdered by gang members, not an accident.
I didn't say accident, I said incident.
No, you said accident.
Anyway, incident with gangbangers. And he made a very clear point in saying that these gangbangers were from Mexico. They were illegal immigrants from Mexico. Right? But let's see. There's something probably around 3 million people from Mexico living in the United States right now. And 2 people being gangbangers after that happened? and suddenly every single illegal immigrant is a killer. It's horrible what happened to those little girls, or those girls, and I'm very glad that these people were, tried and convicted of the killing. They deserve that. That, like, killing people is not cool at all. Like, duh, right? But just because two people from one specific race killed two, I believe. Okay, so what were they, African American? They looked African American, but I don't want to say that.
No, I don't, that's not the point.
Anyway, doesn't matter. They were Americans, right? And suddenly everyone from Mexico is that. It's like that is labeling on an extreme level. And once again, most of those people who are here from Mexico, Central America, South America are coming here because of gangs, violence, and drugs. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat the fact that these Central American countries have these problems. The United States has them too. But in Mexico, the central government at this point has no power. It's so corrupt at this point that cartels are almost annexing parts of the country. The policemen don't care about you, and they will try to steal from you and rape you. Kidnappers are everywhere. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to live in a country like that. That sounds like it'd just be awful. And the fact that these people are spending like every penny they have to try to get here, and then they're being discriminated against because all these people are so blind to what our president has to say that they're being mistreated the way they are. Just because they wanted to escape violence. That is completely unacceptable. That is so wrong morally, and and to be labeled on a large scale like that is absolutely abhorrent. I don't know what else to say. Our president is completely inept at running our country. He doesn't care about the citizens. He just wants to make a quick buck, right? He thinks he can run it like his business, and he can't. Democracies don't work like a business committee. He's not going to have, the Congress isn't a bunch of yes men who will just say yes, 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 Mr. President, yes, President Trump. They're not going to do that. That's just not how our government works. And yet, somehow, all these people are backing him. Why? Like, that's just mind-boggling to me. Alright, well, that's my spiel on the issue. I pray to Lord Zeus, Poseidon, Hades, Aphrodite, and any other gods you can think of that this situation doesn't get any worse. I want to live in the greatest country on earth. I do. But I'm not entirely so sure it's going to keep being the greatest country on earth if we don't do something about this quickly. That's all for now. And I'm sorry about the sniffling, I'm a bit sick. Thank you for listening. Have a good night. Come on.